share the screen here, but rock and roll. Yeah, we got 40 people, and that's good. Okay, so what I want to go over tonight and spend some time on is what I'm titling as digital real estate. Most of you guys know me from the Kingdom Real Estate. Did that for a decade. I mentored 10,000 paid clients. I worked with people all over the world. I did that for a long time. But what I want to go over tonight is why I switched my predominant focus from rental real estate to automations after building a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio in Montana. Before we do that, my goal isn't to persuade you guys to do anything. My goal is my objective is not to try to convince you to come and do automations with me. It's merely to open your eyes to what is possible in 2025. If you hear nothing else from me tonight, I want you to understand that the investment world is changing. It is. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt, the investment world is changing. In my opinion, if you continue to do things like you did in the 90s and the 2000s, even the 2020s, I think you're going to miss an opportunity. Second bullet point here is I love real estate, guys. I continue to hold real estate. I continue to invest in real estate. So just because I do other things, just because I'm a serial entrepreneur or a multiple faceted business owner does not mean that I do not love real estate. There's risk in anything you do. Nothing in life is easy. If you're expecting this to be some sort of an easy path to making millions and millions and millions of dollars, I've got another thing for you. This is important to me that you guys understand this is futures. This is not Forex. Futures are fully legal, fully regulated by the SEC and literally every possible governing branch that deals with finance and investments. All of the brokers are here in the United States of America. There's no crypto. There's nothing like that. This is about as normal and probably even more regulated than real estate. Okay? This is not a Forex presentation. This is not a crypto presentation. Cool? Looks like we got all sorts of people in the chat. Good to see you guys. This is not new. As of 2024, in the regulated survey, let's just call it a survey, 73% of hedge funds and trading firms like BlackRock are using automations. Charles Schwab, like all of these big players, 73% are reporting that they use an automation. What that means is that it's not people physically manually pushing buttons and trading. Okay. In fact, most of the trades taken are automated. Manual traders provide the liquidity for hedge funds to profit. So think of it like this. If 80% of the volume is done by institutions, and if 73% of institutions are using automations, all the other like little onesie twosie day traders, they're the liquidity. They're the exit liquidity. They're not winning. They're not even close to winning. Cool? Makes sense? So if you guys don't know my backstory here, I did corporate America before quitting after I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. How many of you guys have read Rich Dad Poor Dad? It's got to be most of you. Rich Dad Poor Dad. The book changed my life. The book, the only thing I can even remotely compare it to is like getting saved. It was like that important of an experience to me was reading this book. It completely messed with my head. Like I have not been the same since reading that book. As soon as I got done with it, I left. I quit. I was out. But in my 2 weeks notice, they didn't give me 2 weeks. They just told me to get out of there. And that was the end of corporate America for me. I went on to build a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio using none of my own money. What that means in layman's terms is I used a lot of creative financing. I used a lot of private money. Eventually, I used some bank financing, but the majority of it was creative financing and private money. Okay. So if you guys want to make a big impact, if you guys want to move very quickly, Learn to use other people's money. It'll change your world. Now, I wholesaled. We never flipped. I've never flipped and never will flip. But we built a portfolio of rentals, fourplexes, 6, 8, 10. My biggest was a 26 unit converted motel. So think of like lots and lots, hundreds of rental properties. I was able to retire my wife at the age of 26. She has not had to work a day since, outside of chasing our two crazy boys around. Now, my wife chooses to do a lot. She chooses to do a lot of projects, but she has not had to work a job for money since she was 26. So we're going on, I won't tell you her age, but we're going on north of a decade. Can you guys imagine? Um, there's a lot of, there's, I was going to say there's a lot of gentlemen in here, but it goes both ways. Anybody here, can you imagine retiring your spouse when they were 26? Like, out of everything I've done, and I've done a lot, out of everything I've done, the thing I am most proud of as a husband, as a provider for my family, is retiring my wife when she was 26 years old. I want you guys to fathom that. And if you guys have been working a job and if you have been in the matrix, in the rat race for a long, long, long time, you probably can't fathom that. You're on your way to, 40s, 50s, 60s before you can retire. And at that, even if you retire, most of you guys are not looking at having enough money when you retire to retire. Okay. So how this works is when you retire, you won't have enough money and you're either going to start working immediately after retirement age while you still have a little bit of energy, or you'll do it when the money runs out and you'll be even older and have less energy. Does this make sense? Like you don't get more energy as you get older. I am more proud of that than anything I've done, any business deal, anything I've done. I'm more proud of being able to give my wife that. Does anybody know why I did that? Some of you guys know my story. Why did I do that? There's a lot of kingdom people in here. Come on, kingdom people. My wife did something for me very, very specifically when I was starting. Anybody remember what it was? While you guys are doing that, I'm gonna say hi to a couple more people that just jumped in. Brian, what's up, Brian? Charles, I said hi to Charles, Dave Smith, Dean Martin, Dylan, what's up, Dylan? Greg is in here. Jake is in here. Biblical thing to do. My wife lent me $3,000 when I quit, when I quit Enterprise Rent. My wife gave me the money so that I could hire a mentor. She supported my dream. She believed in me 100%. And because of that, I promised her that it would be reciprocated not if, when I was successful. So when I was successful, I kept my promise there. I've mentored a bunch of people. You guys don't care about that. I've built a tech company that hacks the markets. So let's get into the nitty gritty. What the heck is an automation? I've already told you guys it's not Forex. Forex is bad. It is not crypto. It is the most regulated form of investing that you can do in America. Okay. So I want you to think of the most legit thing in America, investment wise. It is more legit than that. An automation is a way to take human trading, physical trading, and to put it on autopilot. Okay. With technology, we can optimize a human's trading behavior to create a command. Now, this is not AI. If anybody ever tells you that they have an AI trading program, they're not being honest with you. Artificial intelligence is not at the point yet where it can have a brain and actually like make decisions like that. It can only make the decisions that you tell it to make, and that is called a command. It is not AI. I'm telling you guys right now, please, for the love of gold and silver, if anyone tells you that they have an AI trading bot, they're full of it. Okay? They're not being honest with you. There's not such a thing. Our automation, Black Gold's automation, is based on my trading. Okay. I currently have over 500 traders. It's actually 650. I have 650 people that manually trade my system. Okay. So this trading system, this proprietary thing that I built up with the people on my team is being used every day and every night by people that are physically trading. Does that make sense? And automation is taking that physical rules of engagement and putting it on autopilot. If you guys have ever heard this, if this, then that. If this happens, then that is supposed to happen. If this occurs, then do that. That is what this is. This is designed to take the best trades out of the day. Now, Jordan, if you got 650 people manually trading, and if you're so good at trading, people always come at me with the stupidest stuff. If you're so good at trading, why do you need to do this? Well, I'm sure if you know what the answer is, put it in the chat real quick. Why not just manually trade, dude? It's so good. It's so good. Why don't you just do it? Time freedom, 100%. I've got a 15-month-old kid, and I've got a 4-year-old. If you know anything about kids, um, it's insane. Jason nailed the other part of it. There's so much emotion involved in it. It will literally stress you out. Okay. There's decision fatigue involved in it. There's emotions involved in it. Your blood pressure goes up, it goes down. Your excitement, your dopamine goes up, it goes down. This, that, like it's out of control. Okay. So I want to do a quick comparison because we have so many real estate people in here. And before anybody gets testy, I will clarify a couple things. So let's just go through it. I'm curious though, where you live, all of you in the chat, where you live, how much does a single family house, think of like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, single family house, how much does that cost where you live? I want to prove a point here. Some of you guys in LA are like, dude, 700K, 200K, 250,000, 75, okay? 600 to 800. Chad, I need to move over there, dude. 275, 275, okay. Um, Man. So I'm going to use just 120, which is outside of two of you, is significantly cheaper. Let's just say you buy a rental property for 120 grand. You've got management, you've got maintenance, you have insurance, you have vacancy, and at best, you got to pay for you either paid cash or you bought it with debt. You got to pay for the debt. There's a lot that goes into it. At best, very few people have shown me otherwise. At best, you're probably going to make about 200 bucks a month. Unless you live in a very, very, very high end neighborhood, you might be getting like maybe 300 or 400 a month. Okay. So your annual cash flow is 2,400 unless something breaks. Scalability, if you wanted to do it again, you got to go buy another one, right? How do you scale a rental portfolio? You have to get another rental. Am I missing something, or is that's correct, right? You got to go buy another one. You got to go from a single family to a duplex to another duplex, a duplex to a fourplex. You start trading up and getting better and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what I did. An automation, well under 10K. No management, no maintenance, no insurance, no vacancy. You're gonna net probably between 1,200 and 2,000 a month. Okay. So your ROI on the real estate side is 2%. Your ROI on the automation side is between 144 and 200%. Your annual cash flow is 2,400 on the real estate side. It's 14,400 without scaling on the automation side. Scalability, again, you either have to buy another single family or duplex on the real estate side, or on the scalability side, you either just choose the compound or you can add more money to it. Like let's say you wanted to add another 1,000 to it. You don't need to come up with 120 grand. You come up with 1,000. And that $1,000 is going to produce you more than the monthly cash flow of the single family. So I look at it like this, and you should look at it the same way. Think of it like this. Every $1,000 is about a single family house. in the automation world. For every $1,000 you have actively trading in an automation, it's about the same cash flow as a single family. Okay. Put in $5,000, guess what? You got a fiveplex. Put in $10,000, guess what? You have a tenplex. You guys said, a bunch of you said 600, 700, 800,000 for a single family. At tenplex, you're going to be millions and millions of dollars. $10,000 is the same cash flow as 10 million. 10,000, 10 million. See what I'm saying? This is why we're so fired up about this. This is why there's so many people that are doing this. This is why so many people are adding things like automations to their portfolio. It's not that you don't do real estate. It's that you do something that gives you cash flow. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up, give me a yes, give me a amen, give me a hell yeah in the chat if this is making sense so far. If not, I promise I can slow down. I can answer some questions for you. I've got some amens. Hey, those of you guys that were at my event a couple weeks ago, you know, Southern Baptist. I need some amen. There we go. There we go. Rentals suck, Matt says. I can tell you this, guys. I'll talk about it here in a second. I had this huge, like, sigh of relief when I got rid of most of my portfolio. Just the mental weight, the need to always be scaling, the need to always be marketing, the need to always be what went wrong today? What refrigerator? Oh, by the way, you see over here on the cash flow side, it says unless something breaks, it's the second to last point on the left. Guys, if your stove goes out, there's your cash flow for the year. The refrigerator goes out, boom. HVAC, you might lose your cash flow for 2 years. You're now negative. You now spent $120,000 and it doesn't make you money. It's costing you money every single month. Okay. I can't tell you how many stupid furnaces have gone out and HVACs have gone out and tenants do some stupid stuff. Like the reasons why there are holes in the wall, like they're phenomenal. I mean, it certainly wasn't us. Dude, that gigantic hole in the wall was not there when you moved in. Crazy, right? So my big aha moment. I remember sitting at my office one day, looking at my accounts and saying, how do I have all these rentals, but my cash flow sucks? On paper, I had $1 million portfolio on paper. I had well over $1 million worth of assets and value and real estate and land and dirt. But my bank account did not reflect that. So I realized that real estate and often business in general, they lack cash flow. They have a cash flow problem. I was just talking to a gal the other day, and she raises hundreds of millions of dollars, like monthly. She is the capital raising queen. Her last project was like 220 million. And she told me the other day that she has a cash flow problem. Can you imagine? Real estate isn't a cash flow game. Real estate is equity. It can be appreciation as long as, as long as things are going well. And it's absolutely a tax play. So when you hear me on that, it's not a cash flow game. It's equity, appreciation, and a tax play. That is the reason why I still have real estate. But guys, if we're talking about monthly cash flow, if we're talking about getting out of the rat race, you understand how many rentals you would need to cover your monthly expenses. You guys see where I'm going here, right? Let's just say you have $10,000 in monthly expenses. You need 50. You need 50 rental properties. That's just to break even. That's for you to be able to leave your job. You need 50. And that is if nothing goes wrong, if nothing breaks, if no furnaces, no roofs, no refrigerators, no holes in the wall, no flooring, Heaven forbid there's a freaking plumbing destroys everything. If you have a plumbing problem, it's not a pipe that you're fixing. It's the pipe, it's the floor, it's the drywall, it's you got to pull out the insulation. You guys know. You need 50. I'm going to just be blunt with you guys. Most of you aren't going to have 50 rentals. Most of you guys in your lifetime probably will not have 50 rentals. Therefore, you will remain in the rat race over and over and over and over and over and over again. If you're going to own real estate, do it for equity, appreciation, and the tax play, not for cash flow. In order for any business to survive, they need cash and cash flow. This is about the time I started to really look at building digital assets that could cash flow literally up to 100 times better than my real estate portfolio. And honestly, this is why you guys should be doing the same. So my investments started to transition a little bit. Instead of buying real estate, I hired developers. We've got multiple developers on my staff. These are people that are building the automations. These are people that are like brainiacs. We got this kid, he's a sophomore in college that's going to come like intern for us. And he's like built things that he's sold to like Microsoft. Like those types of people, instead of going out and buying $120,000 property, I started hiring these people. And I started looking at my manual trading, which is very good, and saying, how do I automate this? So I want to explain this really quickly. This is 236 ROI, 236% return on the past 2 years without scaling. And this is 2% drawdown. What that means is there was it's 2.08%. So that out of, and this is a $10,000 account. On a $10,000 account, the most that we were ever in drawdown was $384. Okay. So on a $10,000 investment, the most you were ever even quote unquote at risk was $384. How much is a refrigerator? How much is a furnace? How much is a roof? How much is an HVAC? And this doesn't mean that we lost $384. This just means that we were in drawdown, meaning a particular trade or a set of trades went dipped into the red before going up. If you guys look at this equity curve, it's not straight up. There are dips down, right? Like that's that drawdown. So this is 236% return, 2,422 trades. 46% of the trades won. Profit factor was 1 to 8, 3, I'm sorry, 2% drawdown. Now this is a back test on TradingView, which is the largest charting platform on the planet. So that's very good, right? Can we all agree that that's pretty darn good? That is, I mean, a 401k is like what, 12% a year if you're lucky. A franchise, you don't even start making money until year 2. And even then it's very, very bad. Real estate, I just showed you an example of it being 2% a year. Like we're looking at 236%. Can we all agree that that's good? Because if we can, I want to ask you the question, what is scaling then? Because I told you guys scaling is something completely different and it's really exciting with scaling. So what the heck is scaling? So our automations use a feature we built called smart scaling. So how this looks is we start with one micro contract, which is the smallest you can start. So we're not putting it all on red. We're not putting it all on black. It's the smallest you can start with. And that's what you guys are looking at above. This right here is, this big graph here is 1 micro. When the account balance grows by 1,000, we add a micro, okay? And then if the account drops by 1,000, we subtract a micro. So if you go from $10,000 to $11,000, you would have 2 contracts. If you go from 11,000 to 12,000, you have 3 contracts, so on and so forth. By the end of the year, you're trading with about 50 to 55 contracts. And it just continues and continues and continues. You get to the point where, because remember I said it's if we add 1,000, you add a contract. If we go down 1,000, you subtract one. It gets to the point, stay close to the mic. What? Stay close to the mic. I don't have a mic. Well, I do. Sit up here. Um, it gets to the point where you're adding a contract every day. Like it starts to get really, really exciting. So as the contracts increase, the amount of time it takes to add a contract decreases. This is why you see such a steep growth curve. So here's what the smart scaling produces. Same everything, but this is what it now looks like if you are doing the smart scaling. You are now at 543%, 2,000, same trades, 2,422. The trades don't change. The percent profitable, same percent profitable, 46%, same profit factor. Drawdown went up a little bit. It went from 2% to 3%. But if you guys look at that equity curve, that is what scaling looks like. Towards the end, it's almost straight up, not quite, but it's pretty doggone close. That is scaling. That's what gets us excited. Same time frame, same starting point. There's a 307% difference between not scaling and scaling in 2 years. So if you were scaling, you would have made an extra 307% in this example, if you were scaling. Same page? Scaling, if you grow 1,000, you add a contract. If you lose 1,000, you subtract one. Okay, cool. So let's get into the what everyone's probably run. What's the risk, dude? There's got to be risk, right? It sounds too good to be true. It probably is. I love it when people say that. It sounds too good to be true. It probably is. Most of those people, not all of them, most of those people have not accomplished a lot in their life. Those people are very, 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 very cautious. They do not take risks. They wait until they know all the information to make a move, and they never know all the information. But I get the point, though. So is there risk? Of course, but it's probably not what you think. So if you have a rental, like we said, your AC goes out, refrigerator, etc., like that's probably more risk than what I'm showing you. With automations, if this says 3, there's actually 4 levels of risk mitigation. So I'm gonna go through the 3 on here, then I'll tell you the one that I missed. The first is every trade is individual, and we only have one trade open at a time. So let's just say that the market does something crazy. You only have one trade open. Okay. The second is each trade has its own stop loss. So again, same scenario. You've got one trade. That trade has a stop loss. Let's say the market just tanks or does something crazy. You hit your stop loss on one trade. The third thing is each account has a daily loss limit. What that means is, let's just say that John Williams is, just because he's right here in my chat. Say John Williams says, Jordan, no matter what happens, I never ever want to have a day where I lose more than $300. On the broker, we just select daily loss limit 300. Okay. So again, first is every trade's individual. Every trade has a stop loss, and then the overarching account has a daily loss limit. The other thing I forgot to put on here is we do not hold trades overnight. Every trade is intraday. Every trade is closed out by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're not holding trades for days. We're not holding trades for weeks. Every trade is done by 5 o'clock. So I want to be realistic. It might actually be cheaper from a financial standpoint, doing this than $1,000 refrigerator versus $100 stop loss. It might actually be cheaper to do this. You would literally need to lose 9 times in a row to equal a refrigerator. Any questions on this really quick? Just in the chat for me. So every trade's individual. Every trade has a stop loss. The stop loss means that the trade can't lose more than whatever you want that to be. $50, $100, etc. 300 loss per micro. Um, I'm not sure what the question is, but you can set the stop loss however you want to, depending on the strategy. Does the automation pick the stocks? Yeah, I'll show you that in a minute. I'll show you that in a minute. Can automations be used on prop firms? I'll cover that in a minute. So guys, really quickly, is there any questions specifically to the risk that I'm showing you on the screen right now? I'll hit all the other questions in a second. Is there leverage involved? Not like Forex, no. Why scale to 50 micros rather than switch to minis? Cheaper, yes, but you can't scale. You're not going to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. You're going to want to go probably like on the minis. You're probably going to want to go, smaller than that. Scale it up smaller. It's a little bit more expensive, but not much. Trading 5 micros, what is your stop loss? It's going to depend. It depends on you. Any of the questions specifically about what I'm talking about right here on the screen, any of the questions, I'll hit all of the questions here in just a second. If you guys are good, just say I'm good. There's 4 levels of miscommunication. The other thing that you should know is that every single broker has something that's very important. It starts with an I. Anybody know what it is? Every broker that is registered in the United States of America is required to have, insurance. So if the broker messes up, like if you set a stop loss and say the broker messes it up, they got insurance, guys. Cool. People like to say, well, what if my Wi-Fi goes out? Well, first of all, we're not going to use your Wi-Fi, but I hear you. What if there's a storm in Chicago where the Chicago Mercantile is, and like their servers have a glitch, like a 5-second glitch? They have insurance for that, right? So there's really 5 layers of risk. How easy is it to start? Very, very easy. First of all, we sign you up with a license for what fits your needs. Okay. Everybody on here has a different need, a different risk tolerance, a different financial goal, a different timeline. If you're 20, your timeline might be different than if you're 50. So what we do first and foremost is we have a conversation to see what your needs are, and then we'll pair you up with the right automation. The second thing you do is you're going to create a broker account, the US based. It's in Chicago, right across the floor from the Chicago Mercantile, on the same floor as CME. Okay. You're going to create a broker account. It's very simple to create a broker account. You're going to deposit your money into the broker account with US dollar. You can do this by ACH, wire, check. It's very simple. Again, no crypto, nothing weird. I connected my bank account, Huntington Bank. I did the ACH option. It was there the next day. It's the same way out as well. If you want to take your money out, same thing out. You request a withdrawal. You can do it at the end of every day. At 5 o'clock, you can do your withdrawal. And it goes back the same way, ACH directly into your bank account. So you're going to fund your account, and then we're going to upload your strategy to your broker account. And we're going to help you turn it on. Okay. And then we can monitor it on our end. And we make sure everything's good. And we can communicate with you guys as need be. How easy is it to start? I mean, you could literally be taking your first trades. I don't want to say by Friday, maybe by Monday or Tuesday, right? If you were Johnny in the spot, got it very quickly, very quickly. In fact, you could probably make more money than the rental would in a year by the time the rental would even close. So if you were to buy a rental property today and sign up for this today, the rental property would go through 30 days of this and that escrow. Okay, by the time it was even clear to close, probably would have made more money with this in the same amount of time. This is on NinjaTrader / Tradeovate. Yes, sir. Okay, so what's the investment? So typically we like to see accounts with a minimum balance of 5 grand. Now, can we do less than 5 grand? Yes, but 5,000 is a pretty normal number, and it allows for the account to have sufficient margin. Okay. Our packages range based on needs. We kind of like to run the demo based on your starting balance to kind of pair you with what makes the most sense. But I want to give you an example here. Now, this is not my opinion. People get pissy about this. This is not my opinion. This is math. Okay. Before I show you this, I want you to understand there's a bunch of ways you can screw up this math. Okay. If you were to start with $5,000 in an account, in your brokerage account, and let's say that you were to make 6% a month, pretty normal. It'll probably be that as an average. Some months you'll have higher, some months you'll have lower. Let's say that you average 6%. Okay. If you were to have that in there for 5 years, and if you added an extra 500 once a quarter, you get a bonus at work, you add an extra $500, you would have $248,000 in that account in 5 years. So you would have gone from 5,000 to 248,000. Now, how can you break this? This is assuming that you're not taking withdrawals. Like this would be for somebody that's building like a long-term retirement account or a long-term portfolio. If you were to pull money out, it would change this a little bit. Okay. If you didn't put in $500 once a quarter, you'd change it. You see what I'm saying? This is assuming that you do exactly this for 5 years. What if some of you guys are going to be more than 5K? So what if you did 10K? And what if you did one of our higher end automations that, let's say, averages 10%? Okay. Instead of 6, 10%. And 5 years, same quarterly, it goes to 3.5 million. Your $10,000 investment over 5 years, if you were making 10% monthly and adding an extra $500 once every quarter, if you didn't touch it, it'd be 3.5 million. Okay. Cool. Not my opinion. This is just what the math is. So I'm going to open this up for questions, but how this works is I don't have this big pitch for you. I'm not going to do the guru bullshit and say, but wait, I'm not going to do, they call it a stack. Add a bunch of stuff and then discount it at the last second. That's all horse malarkey. Book a demo. We're going to put the link in the chat. Jason's going to help me out with that. We're going to put the link in the chat. I want to have a call with you, an actual phone conversation with you to see if this is a fit. I would like you to have $5,000. If you don't have $5,000, I still want to talk to you if you're serious about this. Now, if you're starting with $100, I can't help you. Okay. If you're starting with 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, I could probably help you. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm going to open it up for Q&A. I'm going to jump out of this. The link to book a call. Now, Jason's helping me out, but Jason's just a dude. Just a dude. There's 50 plus people on here. You need to click on the link in the chat. Okay. You have to use that link. Jason will run out of time, so don't wait 5 days to book a call. Okay. I asked him to open up additional days, but there's 52 people on here and there's 52,000 people that are going to watch the replay. So please book a call now if you're serious about it. Okay, so some of the questions in the chat, and you guys type away. How about Top Step prop firm? So how it works with the prop firm? The technical answer is, technically, does this work with a prop firm? Yes, it does. Is it a little bit of a gray area with prop firms? Yes, it is. I can tell you our experience only. Our experience is we've pulled out over $100,000 from a prop firm. Okay. That is our experience. Could that change tomorrow? It could. Could it stay the same for the next decade? It could. I cannot guarantee you that a prop firm will pay you out if you use an automation. I can tell you that we've taken $100,000 from the automation. What that means is, instead of putting my own money into an automation, I've signed up for a proprietary firm and I've put their money and attached my automation to their money. 100K, 200K, 300K, 500K. I attach my automation to their money. Costs me a couple $100 a month, but I now have a $200,000 account. Now, if we're doing 10%, you guys can do the math on that. You're making 20 grand a month, if not more. I just got on the Zoom. Ed, not a chance in hell, my friend. We're not even doing, we don't even do Forex, my friend. I'm not going to do that for you. I can show you 6 years of data, but I'm not going to give you my effects. Do that. So this is money we need to not touch for the next 3 years? No, no. You could pull money out every day if you want. In that example of compounding, yeah, you would not touch it if you wanted those numbers on the compound sheet. What is the strategy that is trading? ICT? Man, I can't steal someone else's strategy. That's illegal. I'm not going to steal ICT strategy. Number one, it doesn't work. Number two, these are my strategies that me and my team have generated. So we have two predominant strategies. The first one is called Gyra, and that is based on a stochastic and an RSI and volume. We have another one that is based on breakouts of the market. So when you see the market do crazy drops or crazy, opposite of a drop, it's based on those. But no, we don't do any sort of ICT. We don't use anyone else's strategy. It's all ours. Jose said, you said our strategy is uploaded. Is this not the BGT strategy? I'm not sure what you mean. We have 6 automations right now. Each of the automations is a file, and you would upload that file to your account. You would own the automation. But what is the different percentages for the different automations? So at the bottom, it starts with, and this is not scaling, okay? You got to understand that if you're scaling, the numbers are significantly higher. Without scaling, it starts at 50% at the bottom a year. It goes up to 2 of them are at 98%. The next one is at 120%. Then the top ones are 150% a year without scaling. If you're going to scale it, those numbers are very, 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 very different. Hopefully that answers your question, Matt. I need the broker trading statements before I drop funds into your program. Brother, I'm not asking you to drop money into my program. For clarity. We can have a phone call and see if it's a good fit, but we're not off to a good start. Not off to a good start. Are they licensed? Help me understand. Is what licensed? Do you use NinjaTrader on a PC? Yes. Yes. I just told you what the strategies were. So the strategies that we use, just for clarity, the strategies that we use. Number one is a strategy called Gyra. It's my own proprietary strategy that me and my team own. Okay. I own the strategy. No one else owns it. It's based on, like I said, it's based on the stochastic, the RSI and volume, and the intraday momentum of the market. Okay, that's the first one. We have 4 that are based on breakout strategies. They're all breakout automations. They all act a little bit differently, and they act kind of together. Those are the main ones. So that is the strategy. Do I own it outright? Yes. Can I run it on 2 computers? No. You would have a VPS, you'd run it on one VPS. There's no need for multiple. You could sign into that VPS. Without scaling, automations can generate from 48% up to 100%. Yeah, 48 is the lowest, and then it goes up to 150 without scaling. Great questions, guys. So yeah, you own it, and it is ran on your computer, on your broker account. I have nothing to do with your account. Now, we help you set it up. We help you run it. We have education on it. We have instructions on how to run it. We do multiple calls every single month. We do have a full service concierge that can help you. Just depends on what you're looking for, right? But yeah, this isn't like good luck. Hope you do good. No, we do this every day, man. We work with our clients every single day. If you have questions, if you need help, if something isn't working right, we do fully guarantee our products. So if something isn't working right, if something in the code has changed and it's not firing the way it should fire, um, we guarantee our products. We'll either fix it or replace it for you. Will you be sending the replay out because I did miss another one? Yes, sure, I can do that for you. Yep, absolutely. Yep. You sign up with the broker. I'm going to attach it. I'm going to give you the file. You'll put the file on the brokerage account. You literally click file upload. It's not very difficult. It's our brokerage account, but this would run alongside that watching the market. So most of our stuff is done on the NASDAQ. It's one of the most popular assets on the planet. So this would be attached to the NASDAQ and it would take trades on the NASDAQ. It's not like searching sky on the internet. It's not doing that. It's just the NASDAQ. So today on the NASDAQ, we took 4 trades in the NASDAQ today, right? 3 of them were winners, one of them was a loser. I do have one that is more for like gold. I do have one that's a little bit more for oil, and I do have one that's for copper. I'd say that those are our top assets. The NASDAQ, which is a US based index, gold, oil, and copper, those are kind of our top assets that we trade. So depending on what automation will depend on what we are attaching it to. Yeah, you guys, you own the account, your money, you upload your money into that US based, fully regulated broker. And what I'm doing is I'm going to email you the license and you're going to go file upload. It's that simple. And there's a couple buttons, like a couple settings I'll show you. But other than that, it's not difficult. What is drawdown like on average? I'm not sure if you were here when I showed it, but it was 2% was the highest on one of them over 2 years. In 2 years, it did not go above 2%. The other one that I showed was 3%. On some of them, I've seen it up as high as 10%, and that is fairly rare. And guys, drawdown doesn't mean that you lost money. Yeah, drawdown just means that the trade was in the red for a minute. It's not a loss. You guys would see the loss reflected on the chart. It's not a loss. Drawdown is not a loss. Is this a one-time fee for the license? It is. It is a one-time fee. We do have like a rental, but that's something a little bit different. Jason, if you could put the link to book a call down there again for me. Guys, if you want to have a one-on-one call with me and Jason, we'll go over this, we'll go over your situation, what you're trying to accomplish, what kind of an ROI you want, what kind of a risk tolerance you have. Again, everyone's different. That's why I can't just say it's blank price. Everyone's different, and they have a bunch of different automations that are all very, very effective. That's why we go the extra mile here, and we offer a one-on-one consultation to see if this is a good fit. If it's a good fit, we'll run all the numbers with you, we'll strategize with you, we'll get you taken care of. Cool. What other questions do you guys have? Look at all these calls coming in. Hey, shout out to Kevin and Stacy and Chad. Shout out to Dan Horvath. Shout out to Rain. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to Melvin. Shout out to Robin. Holy cow, guys. Vincent. Dude, they just keep on coming. Keep on coming. Beautiful. That's exactly what you guys should be doing is booking a call. If it's not a fit, guys, we'll tell you it's not a fit. Can you explain why 5,000 is a minimum? Does that qualify you for something with the broker, like margin or access to automations? So depending on the asset, different assets have different requirements. Okay. So Gold has a different capital requirement than the NASDAQ. With the NASDAQ and with how these strategies run, 5,000 is like extra safe. Now, I did say you could do like 4,000 or 3,000. Um, our recommendation is 5. Do we have people that are doing less than that? Absolutely. Yes. Just understand that the lower the money, like you just don't have as much room, right? On a $5,000 account, you've got significant room. You would have to lose a lot of trades to mess up a $5,000 account. Okay. Now that never happens, but you see what I'm saying? This is all new to me, but fix and flip business chasing contractors was starting to get old, looking for a new way to generate cash flow. I don't think I'll go back to, I mean, like I do other things for cash flow, sure, but I'll never go back to real estate strictly for cash. Again, for equity for some of that stuff. What else, guys? It looks like Jason, it looks like we're gonna be busy the next couple of days. Me and Jason spent today, we just got the entire second floor of a skyscraper here in Canton, Ohio. It's like 12,500 square foot office. Like our team is growing like crazy. We just had a huge event, well, not a huge event, like 45 people event here at the office. But this is really fun to watch this grow, and it's really fun to watch people that worked really, 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 really hard in real estate or um, are looking at their retirement account saying, hey, this math ain't mathing. One other thing I do want to mention, guys, if you have a old 401k or an IRA, you can fund it with that. Okay. I forgot to mention that. It's one of the biggest perks. If you have an old 401k or a IRA, you can sign up and put that in the brokerage account. Okay. Cool. The other thing is the tax benefit on futures is like second to none. So if you guys like the tax benefit of real estate, futures is heavily favored by our government from a tax perspective, right? I know people that are literally putting their money in futures just because of the tax benefit. Um, yeah, we did get it, Robin. Yeah, we did. Came on late. I have to see the replay to know more about the automation. Yeah, absolutely. Is this call designed for us incumbents as well? Primary for newcomers. You already have the automations, so this would not be a good call for you. If you have the strategy support with Kent, that'd be the best way to jump on the call. Having 3 to 5K to put into a brokerage account is one thing, but how much for the automation? Depends. Depends on which one we feel is a good fit. Depends on how much money you have to put into the automation. It's not one size fits all. That's why we have to have a call. It's considered long-term. It is considered long-term. Taxed as long-term income. Futures is not short-term income. Yeah, I wish I could just say it's this price, but we have 6 of them. They're all different. They range. It depends on what you want, depends on what you need. It depends on your risk profile, depends on how long you want it to sit in there. There's a lot of factors here for what we would recommend. We can move an IRA to this broker and trade this using automations, save a lot on taxes. If it's a self-directed IRA, yes, yes. If it's connected to an employer, typically they're not going to allow it to be self-directed in that fashion. So it needs to be self-directed. Like you need to have a say in where the money is being used. That's why an old 401k or a self-directed IRA, those are best. And if you guys need help to transfer it from a 401k to a self-directed, I can help with that. We have people on our common staff for that. Yeah, if it's a service withdrawal or if it is a solo pay, you can do that. All right, guys, what else? There's still 40 people in here. What else? What are you just dying to know? It's FDIC broker insurance as well. Good call, Josh. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate your time. Bare minimum, was this eye-opening for anybody? Whether you're gonna do it or not, was it at least eye-opening? What are the indicators are all coming? Right now, there's four available. There's Rogue 1, Rogue 30, Rogue 45, Rogue 60. There's a lot of those available. Gyra is done. It's being tested right now. I'd say Gyra in next week or so, and then we'll move on to the Super A. But there's a lot available. There's like five available right now. Possible to change from an IRA handheld by a company that holds it to self-directed. Normally not if you still work there. Typically no. If you still work there, they want to screw you over as much as they can while they can. Merrill Lynch. I, I'm really not the IRA expert. I do know that it has to be self. Yeah, you guys, like we have millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. We have people buying 10 accounts at a time. Like it's been crazy. But man, I don't want to make this sound like it's a piece of cake, but it's so much easier than real estate. It's so much easier than running businesses. It's so much easier than obviously working a job. Can you change your automation at any time? Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're different investments, so keep that in mind. Um, I would change it out for you for free if there was ever anything weird going on with it, but that never happened. Yeah, we have packages that include more. The whole point of this, guys, is to build a portfolio. Like you're never gonna want just one automation and then just be done. Like my goal is to have like my one of my partners is 73. Now imagine 73 and for every thousand pumping up $200 and every account he has funded with at least 5,000. Imagine making 50, 80, $100,000 a month. And it's just happening in the background. Like when I say in the background, like it's just happening back here, guys. Right? I can see that I got six strategies running right now. I'm making money while I'm talking to you guys. I'm gonna make money while I'm sleeping. The Asian market just opened up. It's 8 o'clock at night. The Asian market just opened up. London's gonna open up at 3 a.m. New York's gonna open at 9 a.m. I'm gonna make money the entire time before I get to the office. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't eat, it doesn't get tired, it isn't emotional, it never calls off of work, it never gets sick. It just goes, never stops. One for NAS, one for gold. Yeah, yeah, we can strategize on how to do that. Portfolio is the key. Yep. Do you have, do you keep tracking its progress and update if results start not performing? Do you keep tracking its progress? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yep. 100%. Yeah, we have a way to track it, guys. Shout out to Vanessa. Shout out to Kevin number two. Just booked some calls. I see you guys. See you. I'll never do Forex again. I'll never, ever, ever. No, I don't want you to FOMO. I don't want you to FOMO. Future, like, automations aren't going anywhere. Futures aren't going anywhere. In order for this to go somewhere, the US government would have to not allow the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones to operate. There's no way that they're going to do that. Like this isn't like crypto. This isn't like Forex where something could happen. Stock market's not going to go anywhere. So I'm not trying to give you FOMO. I'm just telling you why I bailed on a multi-million dollar real estate portfolio to do this. I was at the meetup. This is great. The team is here to help every step of the way. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Around 300 bucks. Congratulations on that. We don't do any DCA. That is basically grid trading and or martingale. It is very risky. And in some places it's very illegal. So this is all based on my strategies. Fast is one of them. I also have Gyra with the breakout strategies. There's three different potential strategies being used at any given time, depending on the automation. Um, Anything that's like risky like that, like a DCA, we'll never, ever, ever, ever touch that. But a lot of people do in Forex, so I can see why there's that question. Um, Anything else, guys? If you're curious, book a call. If you have additional questions or concerns, book a call. Um, I don't know of anything that has better cash flow that you can get into for this cheap. Does anybody have something else like it? I'm truly curious. Does anybody know of anything that produces this kind of cash flow that's legal, that's this cheap? I think this is why this is why hundreds and hundreds and soon to be thousands of people are doing this. All right, last call. There's a booking link. Make sure you guys copy that booking link. If you don't copy it, you book a call. Trust fund inheritance. Yeah, but that doesn't count. What do I consider cheap? Well, we've been comparing this to real estate. It's about 100x the ROI, about 100x cheaper than real estate. When I say cheap, I mean we haven't set any sort of pricing, so it is the cheapest though. Copy it, book the call. I agree. Start somewhere. Yeah, guys. Yep. Anything else? Guys, I will have the replay available soon. I'm probably gonna go put my kids to bed, so it might not be tonight, but soon. Um, but yeah, if you have any other questions, just jump on a call. You're welcome, James. You're welcome, Robin. Probably get the replay up tomorrow. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for spending some time and hearing a little bit more about what we do. Um, we're making waves in the space for sure, which is fun. I like making waves. Looking forward to 1K days done in 1 to 2 hours. We had a day like that earlier this week. Massive trade, in, out, done for the day. All right, guys. I'll be talking to you guys on the phone here very, very, very soon. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night, and we'll catch you later.